Hello and welcome back to Doing Business in Europe. Today we have the pleasure of being welcomed at Microsoft International here in Paris and to speak to Jean-Philippe Courtois. If you could present yourself, please.
Sure. Good to be with you, Gabrielle, today. My name is Jean-Philippe Courtois. I am the president of Microsoft International. In this capacity, I oversee all of our operations across the world in more than 200 countries where we do our business as a company and where we have set up 105 subsidiaries all across Europe, Middle East, Africa, all of Asia, Latin America. The only two countries I'm not dealing with are US and Canada, but all the rest I'm fully involved and very proud of working with many talented people and contributing to the local economies.
Right. Thank you. Thanks for welcoming us here. What would be the role and the importance of the European market to Microsoft?
Well,
Microsoft worldwide.
Yes. Well, Europe has been indeed the first place where the company has decided to start its international journey almost 30 years ago. We started opening subsidiaries in the UK, then France and Germany, and then we extended to Japan and many other places in the world. If you look at the global business for Microsoft, about 60% of their revenue and more is coming from international. And certainly Europe accounts for a significant part of that, although, of course, as you would expect, the Asia growth is very significant these days. Microsoft has been opening subsidiaries in every single EU member state today. So 27 countries, including Malta, Cyprus, where Microsoft has set up a subsidiary, and where we not only serve our customers, we have consulting services, and we also have many R&D setups and organizations all across the continents.
Right. And how do you feel the competitive environment, the competitive context, knowing that the ICT industry, software in particular, is of course very important to Europe, to the European competitiveness in regards to Lisbon Treaty, the Europe 2010 will become a very significant part there. And yet Europe has only a few champions. We can think of SAP, Sage, Dassault, Software AG, ASECO Poland, of course, and a few other players that are strong there. How do you feel that context? Is that a challenging one for you at Microsoft? Well,
it's certainly a very stimulating environment for Microsoft. And as the company and as a business, we develop software. I mean, that's our world, that's our mission. And we do software to enable people, businesses, to realize their potential. That's the mission of the company. When it comes to the industry, the ICT industry, it means that Microsoft is really empowering more than 125,000 ICT companies in Europe. Very large ones, like the ones you mentioned, the champions, but also mid-sized companies and a lot of startups and small companies. Indeed, for every euro we bill as an organization, you have a multiplier effect of 8 to 10 more euros generated by those ICT companies. And our assessment, my assessment of this ICT ecosystem is actually a very positive one. I think you're right, there's not necessarily a lot of big champions. I mean, you'll find Alcatel-Lucent in telecommunication industry. Dassault is more than €1 billion company, very innovative software company, working also with Microsoft Technologies, by the way. And then you'll find Sage on ERP, and then you'll find a lot of mid-sized companies as well, and many online players in Europe. But I think you'll find a lot of European skills in ICT in the systems integration industry as well. Big names like Capgemini, like Logica, and Atos, Origin, and many others, which integrate and deploy end-to-end solutions for the corporate world, not just in Europe, by the way, but globally. So all in all, that's a very healthy ecosystem of innovation where Microsoft is very embedded into for a number of years now.
Right. Is there a particular role of the small and medium-sized enterprises that you feel in Europe, knowing that, well, 99% of companies in Europe in the single market are SMEs?
That's right. I mean, at the core of the European market, at the core of the economy, are the small businesses. We've got more than 20 million small businesses, depending on the way you count them, but there's a lot. And in our own sector, but in others as well, the growth of jobs in Europe, for 80% of it or more, is coming from small businesses. So this is the reason why, as a company, we keep investing a lot in enabling small businesses. You know, we just call out a couple of initiatives we have. One is enabling SMEs to get access to EU grants. The EU has a lot of money, but it's very hard to get a hold of it. So Microsoft has put in place together a framework called the EU grants, where we've been able actually to provide access to that funding to more than 115,000 small businesses in Europe to achieve their modernization or ICT enablement through some great projects. Bespoke is another one where we enable startups. So there's a lot we do because, again, this is at the core of the European growth.
Right. So the European, well, let's call it competition, is actually a European network of partners, clients, suppliers, and all of this for Microsoft?
Yes. Yes. I mean, if you look at the marketplace, Microsoft actually has the most extensive set of offerings. We sell to consumers. Well, if you think about it, I mean, many of the PCs and devices that are being bought in Europe are coming with Windows. Windows 7, which is the latest of our Windows operating system family of products. Then clearly, when you look at the rest of the customer segments, we sell to the small businesses, we sell to the high-end enterprise for their mission-critical applications, and we also sell and partner with the education sector, with the health sector, and all of the partners ecosystem providing end-to-end solution to all those segments. So we have really a very extensive, again, operating model. And not only we sell software, we actually sell also online advertising. That's also another line of business for a company, where we work with advertising companies, we work with advertisers, and all the people in the media industry, as an example.
Right. Now, if we talk about Europe as the single market, the European Union, of course, there's also the European Free Trade Area, etc. But when we talk about Europe as the most integrated form of economic grouping worldwide, does the single market bring something to the company? That's to say, can you see benefits that stem from, say, legal harmonization, say, maybe reductions from the Eurozone, or other benefits, and maybe challenges as well that come from that integration?
Certainly, you know, in my job, I have the opportunity to travel to many other countries in the world, outside of Europe too. Latin America, Asia, Middle East and Africa. And I can tell you many other continents, countries look at Europe in a very positive way when it comes to the single market concept. I think when you look at Europe achievements, to me, there's two that are standing really above anything else. This is the euro currency. That's a big deal. Of course, it's being challenged these days, but it shows that it's very important to have a currency. And this is a single market, as you said. The single market enables companies like Microsoft to move people around very easily as European citizens across countries. You have much less bureaucracy, much less visas, paperwork to do, to have people moving from UK, Germany, France to Italy, and so on and so forth. Number two, when it comes obviously to the also the business uniformity, it's much easier. It's much easier when you've got at least one common currency. There's a few others in some European countries, but certainly one being used broadly, because then all of our billing systems, operations, fabrics can work much more effectively, as opposed to have a number of very different currencies and issues we used to have, by the way.